Forward to Aberdeen's first ever trip to Dingwall on SPL duty on Saturday.
Well, I'm unaware of that, but we're looking forward to it very much. The local games, and we call it a local one because we're up in the north part, although it's quite a distance, against Inverness and Dundee United and now Ross County are always very exciting games, and the fans make that travel full of anticipation, and they seem less reluctant to go there than to go, for example, to Glasgow or Edinburgh. So we expect a good following coming to support Aberdeen, and my message is always the same: we've not to let them down.
Well, Derek Adams has built quite a good squad up there, very tightly organised, and they'll be looking to do very well on home turf against, like you say, the local rival.
Yes, I think Derek's done well since he's gone. They had a brilliant season last season, and all these consecutive victories and no defeats. It was terrific for Ross County and for that area of the country. Now we're going up there to confirm that, in Aberdeen we have got a reputation here and a great tradition, and we've got to go there and look positively at the fixture, but with the greatest respect for Ross County.
Of course, it was quite a big night on Tuesday, a long night, and ultimately a disappointing one. What's the morale been like in the training grounds?
Well, I think the lads know that in the last dozen or so games they haven't lost in 90 minutes. We lost the game in penalty kicks. We accept that, and they were disappointed that we had to take the game to penalties. But St Mirren, like every other team in the SPL, including Ross County, particularly Ross County, give Aberdeen always a good game, and we can't think that we've got to just turn up and beat St Mirren, and the same will apply obviously in this away fixture in Dingwall. So having unfortunately lost the tie in penalties, there is a bit of despondency, or there was, but we've cleared that hopefully this morning, and tomorrow's another day away from the disappointment, and Saturday's a further day away from it, so it'll be well in the back of our minds. We're looking at the league, and we're very conscious of the opportunity we've got to get to the top of this league.
Do you feel as if you perhaps owe Ross County one, because you were pretty much dominated the game at Pittodrie, but just couldn't get that goal to beat them?
Yeah, well, that's been the case in quite a number of games. Certainly wasn't the case on Tuesday. I think it was an even game on Tuesday, although the stats slightly favoured Aberdeen. But Ross County gave us a good game, but we didn't manage to score at home. So we hope we can do away from home what we didn't do at Pittodrie against them. We're certainly going flat out to try and get the 3 points. We're not going up there just to fulfil the fixture and defend and be happy with a draw. We want to try and win the game.
They're a team that's very solid, tend to sit back and try and hit you on the break. Do you think at home they'll change that style a wee bit?
Well, I think so. I think I've watched some games they've played on tape, both home and away, and they're a very, very well organised team, very compact, and they've got some players who can hurt you. They shoot well from distance, and we've seen that in quite a number of games. That's one of the faults that we have, that we don't score enough goals from outside the box. We've been trying to rectify that, as you've seen. We had quite a number of shots, and I think we had 17 shots on target the other night there, but none of them sneaking in from distance. But the same can't be said for Ross County. The one or two players they've got, they shoot the ball particularly well, and they are a lively, purposeful team, and we've got to be at our best to beat them.
Ryan Fraser was rested, but he came on as a sub in midweek. Craig, are you worried perhaps the team's relying a wee bit too much on him to be the main creator for the side at the moment?
No, I think even without him, before he came on, we had in the first 10 minutes we could have been 3 up without him. We can create without him. We've got other players. I don't think you could accuse Niall McGinn or Johnny Hayes of being lacking in creativity. So he adds a bit more to us, there's no doubt about that. If he's fit, we'll certainly consider playing him, but I don't want to play a lad who's under the weather a bit, and he has been under the weather this week. We brought him on to try to lift things, and he did a bit during the week, but he'll only play in the game from the start if he's fully fit. I'm not wanting to burn out a young lad. There's a long-term future to consider here, not just a short-term gain. So we're trying to balance the two, and that's the manager's job. And I've got to try and do it to the best of our ability.
Sorry, Greg. I was just going to ask how Cameron Smith's reacted. Obviously a young guy, you take a penalty for an important game. Has he been okay after the miss?
Yeah, I think many people have spoken to him, and it's understandable that he's a lot of good support from within the club, and I think from the fans as well. No one is faulting Cammy Smith. Cammy's an accomplished young player. In fact, You know, people forget when he missed the penalty that he created his good ball into the box, created the equaliser, the last minute equaliser, so he should get credit for that rather than be faulted for missing a penalty. I mean, far better and more experienced players than Cammy have missed penalties, and I've been on the receiving end of unfortunate penalty incidents in the past, and so have Aberdeen before and in my time. So, you know, we're not going to point the finger at a young lad who did very well when he came on and who unfortunately missed a penalty.
How important is it, Craig, on Saturday Aberdeen show the character to bounce back from Tuesday's setback? Well,
there was no question about the character of Aberdeen. That's not in question. I'm not saying we're going to win the game. That is in question. But if character wins the game, we'll win it. But there's more than character required. There's ability as well. And what we've got to consider is in every game there are opponents. And you know, it's okay, you can have the best character in the world and the best, but the opponents are trying to stop you, and they also have a team of good commitment and good character. So, you know, it'll be a smashing game. I'm certain it'll be a great game for the fans on Saturday.
You often see teams bouncing back from adversity, don't you, by really reacting like a wounded animal, if you like. Is that what you're looking for from Aberdeen?
Well, I think, you know, St Mirren did that to a lesser extent. They had lost 3 in a row, I believe, and they came up. They didn't beat us in play, but they beat us in penalties, so they're delighted. And they reacted positively. But when you saw the first 5 minutes of the game, we wondered if there was a hangover from the disappointment. Now, we've got to make sure there is no hangover from the disappointment of the penalty kick defeat. I'm sure the character we have in the team will confirm that Aberdeen will be back to the way Aberdeen's been playing in the SPL. And if that's the case, I'll be very optimistic about a positive result.
It should be a very interesting battle of the two dugouts, shouldn't it? If you like, the young pretender against the master. You're looking forward to seeing if the young pretender can outdo you?
No, I'm not. I would never consider myself the master just because I've had so many games as a manager and so many years on the job. It doesn't mean to say you're better than anyone else. I certainly have more experience, but you know that the young lads in the other dugouts that we've faced quite often are very, very positive, and they've got fresh ideas, and you never know what can happen there. But I think we'll be aware of any possibility that can be produced by Ross County. They are good in set-piece situations. They're compact in team organisation, and therefore that, whether he's young or old, that would be the case, I think, up there. It's always a place in the past where I've loved to go to see a match, and now they're in the SPL. It's an even more attractive proposition to see a game in Dingwall, and it's better when your own team's up there playing. So I'm eagerly looking forward to the game. The players are too. I hear them this morning. Tuesday's behind us, and we're looking positively forward. No better place than a tight, compact, fully filled stadium up in Dingwall. It should be a great night.
How's the team news looking for the weekend?
Team news is a bit more encouraging. We've got guys like Gary Naismith getting more and more ready. We've got Andy Considine started training today. We'll see how Andy's looking. He was kept out the training front line because of a doubt about the injury he had, but it's been cleared by the surgeon, so he's been told he can get back into full action again. We have to look to see whether after today and when he trains tomorrow, if there's any reaction, whether we can include him in the squad. Same with Gary Naismith, same with Ryan Fraser. The others who played in midweek are all available and all fit, so we're getting there in terms of fitness. Still, of course, desperately disappointed that Ryan Jack is out for an extended period. Rory Fallon's still out, Jamie Masson's still out, but without the three that I've mentioned, we've still got a healthy squad.
Don't use a Ryan Fraser contracts yet?
No, we're not talking about contracts at the moment. Duncan Fraser will be doing that, and Duncan's back from holiday just at the start of the week. He's got quite a schedule. I looked at his schedule. He was away on business for the club during the week for a day and a half out of the town, so he's back in again, and he'll obviously be looking at not just Ryan but the other players who are out of contract. Ryan's still in contract for a bit longer than one or two that are out of contract earlier, but we would love to get him signed.
That's great.
Thanks, Craig. Thank you.